Hi, thanks for tuning in. Today's short video is about how to paint a brimstone butterfly using procreate. I used a reference image from pixabay.com and I opened, on top of the photo, I opened another layer and then I traced round the butterfly shape with a fine tip pen from the inking range, and then I opened another layer and on top of that I started to paint in the colour of the butterfly. I put in a green background to show up the actual colour that the butterfly is. If you have a white background it tends to show a different colour in the finished product. So I used a green background and then it allows the colour of the butterfly to show probably more true to how it will be in the finished image. By the way, I use an extra layer for the drawing or the tracing work because that way when I'm doing the painting in I can rub some of the lines out without disturbing the actual image and just get rid of them out of the way, but I can leave others in place to give me a good reference for actually doing the painting work, as it were. Right, now I've got the eyes and everything else in position and the proboscis and the feet sorted out. You can see that I've moved the butterfly to the top out of the way, and I've opened another layer and I'm putting in the flower that the butterfly is going to land on. Well, that was my idea anyway. Buddleia bushes are very popular with butterflies, so I thought I'd try and do a buddleia bush using my small stamp, flower stamp that I made for depicting very small flowers. However, this wasn't working for me, so I decided to try something else, and I cheated a little bit, if you like. I thought it'd be the best thing to do would be to go back to one of my old paintings and select another flower, and on one of them a tortoiseshell butterfly painting there's a scabious, and I thought that'd look nice, so I inserted that photo into a new layer and erased the background. Right, so I've got the scabious from the other drawing. I now tart it up a little bit, put a few more darker pieces onto it just to make it look better, and then I'll try copy and pasting it just to make sure that works. And then once I'm satisfied that I have the ability to create a few of these flowers in this painting, I then change the background, make it darker and populate it with scabious and arrange them into what I think is a decent composition. Now some people might think that all this copying and pasting and taking flowers from other paintings is cheating. Well, I don't care if that's what they think, that's their opinion. I'm just using it to create the image that I see in my head. And having said that, you can see now that I'm putting some dark grasses in, green grasses in, to help the composition along a bit, but to be honest with you, I'm not feeling it. This painting doesn't seem to be going the way I want it to, and if you look at the way these grasses are forming behind these scabious flowers, it'll put you in mind of the dragonfly that I did in my last painting. So there's going to have to be a rethink. So I decide to ditch the grasses and the dark green background and do something completely different. So here we have it, a sunny meadow. I've even got patches of blue sky. All it needs now is a few grasses. So I'm going to put in some oaty grass. And with that I use the fine tip pen from the inking range and draw an oaty grass blowing over to the right hand side, and then, as per usual, you know me by now, once I've done that on a new layer I duplicate that layer and then I flip it over and position that layer over on the left hand side. So that saved me drawing another grass. And then I'll put another one in, and I think, well, I better get something that's a little bit different, otherwise it will look a little bit samey. So I do another one up the centre and put branches coming off each side, little oats coming on the end of the oaty grass, and soon we have one of those looking quite nice in the middle. And you don't have to be too particular when you're doing this, because you know what I'll be doing next, and that is to create another layer. I will duplicate that layer, and then I will have two of them, and then before you know it I will populate the old painting with several of these, each on their own layer. And if you look at the one on the far left hand side now, you'll see it's quite faint. And what I've done there is I've just reduced the opacity on that layer, and that gives it a little bit of distance. Now you can see I'm popping the other ones in, and once you've got a few things like grasses in place, you'd have to be a very good person to sit there and actually say, yeah, those are those have all just one or two grasses and they've all been duplicated. I don't think many people will see that. And at the end, I've finished up with a reasonable image. If you've enjoyed watching this, please subscribe, and there'll be another one along shortly. Thank you very much.